Hello, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, or Senstaku, as you might know me on Twitter, the executive producer here, and I just want to thank you for watching. It really means a lot to us that people watch, listen to, and enjoy our shows. If you want to help us keep making these shows as fun and lively as they can be, please join your fellow fans in supporting us at our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms or by subscribing to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/finalshowfilms. It really means a lot to us that the amount of you who do support us continue to do so, especially our $25 plus tier supporters on Patreon. Antitonic, Cat Waterflame, Samantha Bates, Maureen Monty, and Gravity Alexander. Every little bit helps, so thank you to all of our patrons and subs. Check us out on Twitter at Final Show Films and on our website at www.finalshowfilms.com for updates, go-live notifications, and more. We love interacting with you, so feel free to tweet at us or email us at finalshowfilms@gmail.com. That being said, please relax and enjoy.
Yeah, diesel can.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Untethered.
Woo!
Hello.
We have a special guest.
We have a special guest. We have a 2-year-old who is very excited
Almost 3.
about his trains. So,
because you see, John stepped through that portal, and weird time effects happened,
So now we got...
That's now John.
No, it's not.
So that's John.
We raise him as our own.
Maybe you can rework a few things? I don't know.
Anyway, regardless, we, when we left...
Yes.
every time.
I
Yes,
know,
he is.
I know.
And by the time we get to the intro, it'll probably be time for him to go to bed anyway.
Yeah.
So when last we left off, our characters, who are on my left.
Oh, I am Holly. I'm playing Sandra. One day I'll remember her last name. Rosin. She's an arborist.
On my middle right.
Hi, I'm Zach, and I'm playing Yichirasu, the ship's counselor.
On my immediate right.
Hi, I'm Stan. I'm playing Duncan. He's one of the security detail.
And on my far left.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Goro Hozuki, who is also on the security detail.
And,
Rudy should be here at any moment.
yes, shortly
he's
we will
walking down
have...
the stairs.
Yeah, that's that.
Oh!
Like-
And there he is.
and right on time.
And who will be sitting on my far right, we have Rudy. Rudy, who are you playing?
Introduce your character.
I'm playing Kyle, the author of the show.
All right.
Author of the ship. He wrote the ship.
He wrote the whole ship into being.
Okay.
Impressive.
No, he's an author, but the only work he's ever published is literally just a blank page that says, The Ship.
Never said he was a good author. Just said he was an author.
All right.
Did that shirt just say Rebel, Rebel, Rebel?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Last time.
without further ado, last time, yes, we were on the planet, and after getting to meet the locals, they had a call from Card to return to the ship. They got back there, and the ship appears to be dead. No power, no electricity, no way into the ship. It is sealed up, with no sign of either of the people who can fly it. In addition to that, they found some strange creatures that the locals refer to as stitched, which appear to be corpses animated by some sort of strange vine plant stuff that inserts itself through the owner's digestive tract.
Less said about that, the better.
And then, thankfully, they are susceptible to being shot by small pieces of metal going at Mach 6. So, after running back to the safety of the village of Southern American slaves, well, they were slaves in the south of the U.S. until, they teleported to a giant floating physics-defying space rock 500 years ago.
They're also not slaves anymore.
They're also not slaves anymore.
And it's bedtime. I'll be back.
Whose saving grace appears to be that they're defended by a strange being called Garjin. And when we left off, they were talking with said strange being, and determined that they were not going to get any useful information out of it, as it seemed to have no means of communicating. So,
Although it does dislike Tarn, which is a good... Those are good traits. Good traits.
as far you have inferred it has something against Tarn. So, I believe you guys were headed down to the portal. I think everybody's headed down to the portal to check out
Yes.
what was up there.
Yes.
Alright. So, you get down to the portal. It is an interesting thing. It's just sort of a doorway that's been built around it. But again, it clearly was... The portal was not... doesn't look like it was made in the doorway. It looks like the doorway was built around it to fit it as best as possible. And through it, you see an alleyway, best as you can presume, back on Earth.
What shape is it? Like, is it round or is it...
It's roughly door-shaped. The picture is clearest towards the center. The corners, like it is where I said that it doesn't look like the door was... It doesn't look like it was meant to fit the doorway. It's more ovular than the door is.
Okay.
So, we don't know what Earth looks like, so, I mean, except for
I mean,
pictures.
I mean,
Pictures
here's
we had.
here's the obvious thing. Does it look like, colonial era Earth or more modern Earth?
It's
are there
definitely
skyscrapers?
modern.
Okay.
Well, I mean, like I said, you're kind of looking out of an alley, so you see streets. There are cars. You can't get any good details because you're not at a great angle, aside from... There's a nice big dumpster right there.
Ooh. That's... Anybody
Is there any
know?
kind of spare piece of debris that I could chuck through?
You can grab a handful of dirt. It looks like most of the places around here have dirt floors if they're on the ground level.
Yeah. Gonna try to chuck a little bit through.
It just passes through to the other side.
Yeah, it's
Like
just-
the other side here, not. It doesn't teleport anywhere.
Oh, okay.
You also notice that Galadir is standing there without any sort of, like, mask or breathing apparatus on.
Yeah.
We had that conversation.
Which, yes, we had that conversation,
On
but...
a radio. Try to... I mean, I guess ask if Galadir figured out anything about it? I don't know. That would be my first guess. First action would be.
Let me roll a check for Galadir to see what he might have been able to figure out. So this appears to be some sort of crazy portal through space. It defies every law of physics as we know them, but it doesn't seem to take you anywhere.
But it allows light through.
Like I said, doesn't see like you said, doesn't seem to abide by any sort of laws of physics.
But he
So-
said that he was able to pass through
He
it.
passed through it, and something within him fundamentally changed. But he didn't go anywhere.
But he just came out on
He
the other
didn't
side.
Yeah.
Oh. After he went through, did he have trouble breathing the oxygen that was in his suit?
He didn't have any time for that. He, Solace ripped the helmet off of his head, off of the suit very quickly.
Ask him if he can put that back on and see if the oxygen affects him negatively at this point. See if he can breathe oxygen.
He, when he wears the helmet, he can breathe just fine.
He's not able to breathe both oxygen and methane, apparently.
What?
He's now just able to breathe both oxygen and methane, apparently.
That would be what you would figure.
I'll try to run a more thorough medical diagnostic on him.
What are you rolling for that? You have medicine?
Medicine's basically all I can think of.
Okay.
Have his lungs mutated.
78 of 60.
Can't figure anything out.
Among other things, you don't have the best diagnostic equipment here.
Yeah.
He
Can't really take an X-ray or anything.
takes the helmet off. He's breathing. He puts the helmet on. He's breathing. It's different gases both times, and it seems to have the same effect. You can't really tell anything deeper than that.
Okay.
How does the air... Like, how does the air smell?
Sulfurous, I believe, was the...
And the sulfur, yeah.
Sulfurous.
Sulfuric, or sulfur, yeah.
Well, when you the soil composition come back, there's
'Cause, like,
there's sulfur in the soil.
yeah, like, even ignoring anything about being able to breathe it or not, that would be extremely pungent just on the senses as far as breathing that much
Well,
methane and sulfur.
you can get
But
used to
it's
anything
not
over
like
time.
overpowering.
you can get used to anything over time.
I mean, you know when something in the back of your fridge goes bad,
I mean, yes.
and it has that pungent, like, sulfury smell?
Yeah.
It's like that. You're breathing, so you don't complain. Like, it's not harmful, it's not gagging, but it's...
So, but it is very difficult for him to get over the smell.
Just
basically.
establishing what's going on.
It's a strong smell.
Okay.
Yes, our...
Mostly I'm just trying to figure out if all of the changes are isolated to the lungs or if there are also some nasal cavity mutations as well.
Why wouldn't he have a narwhal on his head?
Yeah, why don't you have a narwhal on your head, sir?
Who has a narwhal on their head in game?
No, no one.
No.
Sorry, someone was
Someone's,
commenting, asking why the person with the
uh,
MTW shirt has a narwhal on his head.
I just put a kid to bed and came back down here. I thought in game someone had a narwhal on their head. Sorry.
With this portal, wouldn't surprise me.
Crazy stuff happens in Call of Cthulhu.
So, anyway. Should we walk through it and see if we can breathe funny stuff? Or should we just not
I
worry about
don't
it?
know if walking through would, for instance,
Help us?
drastically decrease your lifespan,
Oh, yeah.
alter your mental
Right.
capacities.
Go ahead.
Ooh!
Are we all together?
Yes.
At this point, yeah.
I can't advise it.
I mean, do we have
Not-
anything else to do here right now?
Not
Not
until we
really.
know more about how exactly this mutation works.
Well, do the...
Actually, asking the
Ask them
resident
about-
biologist, is there anything you could tell about how Galadier's changed here?
Can I tell anything? Can I examine
Roll
him?
biology.
One!
1.
I'm knowledgeable about human anatomy, but this
All right.
is weird.
So... You don't have the best diagnostic tools, but there's enough basic information from the suit. To whatever end, his body is treating the methane as though it were oxygen. Also clarify, Rattle Darkstar, in Call of Cthulhu, 1s are critical successes, because everything is a D100 roll, so rolling a 1 out of 100 is what you want.
Rolling 100 is not good.
Yes. It's
Happened
everything
twice
you want
last
low
week.
rolls. So as you're trying to check it out, the biggest thing that you can't figure out is that you know how the blood structure works, right? You breathe in oxygen, then your blood carries oxygen to the muscles and powers it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not sure, A, how the iron in blood would be carrying methane, because it shouldn't work like that. Number two, it wouldn't just be the lungs, because something would have had to have fundamentally changed in his muscular system for his muscles to be working with methane instead of oxygen.
Except they can also work with oxygen.
Except that, they can still work with oxygen. So, everything in his body is different.
Everything in him is very different. Changed over a very short period of time. His entire muscular system would have had to completely change for him to be able to breathe in methane, but then also oxygen. It's very strange.
How nice.
I mean, it doesn't look like there are any ill effects of it.
I mean, he's breathing. He's alive.
You know,
Think
do you have
about
medicine?
What?
Do you have medicine?
Breathing oxygen is actually one of the
Okay.
primary contributors to aging. Oxygen wears away at our bodies. We just need it anyway. I'm curious if breathing methane would lead to a longer lifespan. I think there's too many variables on this planet to know for sure.
And he got this way because he stepped through the thing?
Yeah.
I say out of character, sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
I couldn't remember.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna step through,
Alright. You walk through, you're on the other side.
okay? What is on the other side? Is there anything?
No, you're on the other side of in the same world.
It's a doorway.
You
You're
just
still
pass
on-
through it.
That's
nothing
it,
happens.
there's
You,
nothing.
we can see an alleyway, but when you walk through it, you just walk to the other side of the door.
Which
So
we
you
know
don't-
is
you
not
don't
the
walk
same
in.
thing that happened to Galadir.
Yeah, no. It's like you walked through nothing. It's like you
So
walked
then
through the doorway.
she comes back, nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Hmm.
It's not the same thing that happened to him.
Was he specifically pushed through or sent through by one of the people here?
There's something going on with
Or-
his watch.
Yeah, it was something to do with his pocket watch, which
He had a fixation with his
Oh.
pocket watch.
That's right.
the three of us know why.
That makes sense. I'm gonna try to walk through it.
Same thing happened to her. You walk through a doorway as though there was no portal there.
Walking back, I'm going to try to get as close of a connection as I can
Do I have the tarot
to.
deck?
Pardon?
Does Gora have the tarot deck since Faust is no longer here? Or did they leave it?
Not. You certainly don't have it on you. It might be in a trunk of his old possessions.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to connect to the tether as well as I can and walk through and see if there's any kind of sensation with that.
So as you walk through, it doesn't. It doesn't feel any different. Roll me. I guess idea.
Mm-hmm.
Intelligence roll.
Mm-hmm. 44 of 65.
44 of 65.
Mm-hmm. Also checking bracelet.
It doesn't seem to have any significant connection, the tether in this portal.
Yeah. So it's just. So this portal operates solely for this world, not between worlds, most likely.
It's also got something to do with Galadir's watch, which between sort of on the private comm between the three of us.
So you're close enough together where if you say something out loud,
Is it not muffled by the helmet at all?
it's muffled a little, but you'd have to kind of whisper it.
Okay. I can whisper into the comms. So sort of whispering through the private comm between the three of us. We know that his watch has the gem from his staff from the other world, which is a portal opening device, which probably has something to do with this.
I'm going to ask Galadir what he... I mean, I guess I would ask him what he experienced going through it, what he saw.
Sandra wanted to have a full conversation.
Basically, I just want to ask him if he saw things solely from this world, or if there might be clues that he saw things from other worlds as well going through it.
Well, given that Galadir is not here this week, unfortunately.
I mean, I guess just...
Psychoanalysis?
I mean, make some kind of a Yeah, make some kind of a roll to see if I'd be able to glean that the information he's talking about is definitively from another world or not.
Huh. I'm trying to think what skill would be appropriate for trying to...
Psychoanalysis is the only thing that I could think of.
But you're not trying to analyze anything about him. You're trying to covertly ask him...
Persuade? Fast talk?
Sure. Do you have fast talk?
I have fast talk.
Fast talk is probably the best you're going to do, because you're going to try to get him to say things. You're trying to manipulate what he's saying.
Yeah.
Try fast talk.
I don't have much in it, but I do have it. 63 doesn't really matter now. So no. I'm not sure.
The problem is, his context is all of this world, and this is a freaky a freaky bending the laws of physics portal. So it's hard, and, if he saw things on Earth, there are things he's never going to see before. He will have never seen before anyway.
True. And it's not like he's saying any obvious tells, like he ran into a, giant castle surrounded by knights or anything. So.
Yeah. Roll me psychoanalysis.
78 of 95.
You also get the impression that he didn't fully comprehend everything he saw.
Yeah.
Which could either be the amount he saw in the short frame, or because he saw things that don't make sense to him yet. So it could go either way.
But even when he first opened the portal back in the original world, he was still able to see the Selkie. So...
Yeah, but he had no idea what it was.
Yes. But he saw it and comprehended it, and the language of it. So...
Yes.
It's just not anything so easy as him seeing back into that world, but yeah.
Unfortunately, asking to borrow the pocket watch is something I would need to ask the player character,
Yeah.
character, because that's something that it could go either way, and we would need John's input on whether or not Galadir would agree to that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Galadir is doing studying on this portal, but he's basically trying to reaffirm his entire grasp of physics in order to accommodate how this portal could work within it and stuff like that. And he is cross-referencing a lot of paper books and digital information.
Makes sense.
So
what do we do next?
What else is...
I want to go back to the ship.
We can't. The ship's locked down.
We could try. Oh,
Well,
right then.
until we can find some kind of a lead on...
And I don't think we have any way of powering the damn thing.
Out of character, This isn't an infinite supply of oxygen, right?
Right.
That we have in our
So
suits?
there's an amount of a rebreather in it,
Okay.
but eventually it would run out of power.
How long would you say we've got on it?
And it depends on how much you're exerting yourself. The more you exert yourself, the more energy and oxygen you use.
So heavy exertion, how long would that be?
If you were just non-stop, constant going, probably got about 24 hours.
But a more average work cycle.
You could probably get double that.
Yeah.
These things are meant to be, spend a day out, not,
So we either need to find what we're looking for here, or we need to find some kind of power source to get the ship back online.
And to clarify, you've spent a good, I'd say about 2 hours between your walking around and figuring stuff out.
Well, if Galadier can figure out anything about that portal, and if we can replicate what he's got going, at the very least we can overcome the time limits here, but yes. I suppose we could try to speak with some of the individuals here about the portal, see if there's any way we could figure out to open it.
Personally, I'd just rather figure out how to get back to the ship, or how to get the ship open, functioning.
There's no way they have about... How far was it between this area and the ship?
It's about a 15-minute jog.
So about a mile.
Yeah.
There's no way they have a mile-long cable to connect to their
As if there was
to their wind power.
The wind power wouldn't be enough, probably.
I mean, if we could just get a spark of power on the ship, we could maybe get the door down.
If there was an external plug on the thing, is there an external plug on it for charging it?
On the ship?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
How does
I don't think
how
it's
does-
going to be
how
as
does it
easy as
charge its
plugging in a
energy source
phone.
while it's on the Selkie?
You lower the back door and it's in the storage area.
It's not going to be as easy as plugging in a
That
phone.
seems like a poor design choice.
I mean, you don't expect to have to charge it while you're on a planet.
You should expect to do that because it's for separating from the ship, so you should have a contingency for running low on power.
Yeah, what are you going to be charging it from?
Yeah.
On a ship, on not the ship. Given that
Yeah.
you're not expected to be anywhere where there's going to be civilization or something to plug into.
But it should be able to, like, get emergency backup power or something.
Which
It
probably
has
went
an
out.
emergency
It probably
backup
has.
power.
We just have to get in to be able to check the controls
You
and
can't,
figure out if
open
it
the
is.
door to get into the emergency backup.
Well, that's kind of a poor design too, actually.
Well, no, the emergency backup should have kicked in. That's the thing. That's part of the when all the power is gone.
Unless somebody shut it off deliberately.
You can't shut off the emergency backup.
Want to bet?
I mean, you could disconnect it.
Okay.
You could physically go in and unplug it if you had a basic knowledge of engineering. But it's not like there's a switch for shut down the whole ship.
I mean, I have mechanical repair. Do I think I could try and figure out how to, like, force drop the loading ramp if I got access
If you
to
had time, you could probably, because the mag seals aren't going to work if there's no power.
Yeah.
If you could get something pried in there, you could definitely open it. It's just a matter of whether or not you would damage the seal on the ship.
Yeah.
But worst comes to worst, even if you damage the seal, it'll still fly, and as long as you're all in your full spacesuits,
Yeah.
it won't be comfortable, and you'll leak a lot of oxygen.
It'll be super cold, but
But your suits are, I mean, these you have the exosuits you have that you're not wearing right now that are on the ship are designed for spacewalks.
and if need be, I can just weld the thing back shut until we get back, and then break the weld seal.
Yeah, I mean, there's a variety of options you have. It's just a matter of you have to have. It's not a quick grab a pry bar, shove it in, open it.
I will need time to try and open the ramp. But if we can get back there and I can borrow some tools from these people, I might be able to try. Which means that people who aren't me, because I'm one of the people that has a gun, will need to guard me.
Have to
If
guard
we-
the whole thing.
Knocked on the door. Do you think they would
We
answer?
tried.
We tried that
Oh,
one.
we tried. I
When we were
forgot.
there.
Yeah, that was
We tried
the
to make
first
them-
thing they did.
Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
if I could borrow some tools from these people, and if someone else could guard me, then I can give it a shot.
Have you heard anything from the stowaway?
Nope.
Also of note, just a quick reminder, none of you can fly the ship.
No. The two people that can fly the ship were on the ship when it went dark.
We're hoping one of them
Maybe
is still
one of them
alive,
still
or
alive.
both.
I have 1% of piloting the ship.
Everyone has a 1% chance of piloting.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So we all
unfortunately,
try.
there's a lot higher percentage of you causing damage.
I wonder why.
Can I use my botany to pilot the ship?
You use your incredible powers with plants to grow a plant smarter than you to pilot a ship.
I am a leaf on the wind. Watch out.
I mean, kudzu is pretty darn persistent.
But not intelligent.
I mean, we could just do the old Jack and the Beanstalk method.
Do we want to see if we can get some tools and try and open the door?
I mean,
No.
fighting off all those stupid things, though, is kind of rough for one person, unless we can borrow that sword.
Do any of you feel like you have a half decent chance of shooting a gun?
Everybody checks their stats. 1%.
Fairly
Yeah,
certain
no.
you two are the only ones that have any.
Well,
experience
handguns
in that.
20%.
Yeah, base handguns is 20%.
Which isn't bad, but it's...
Because firing a gun, no matter how little training you have, is essentially point and pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can try, but I'm not going to guarantee it's going to end well.
I would better, I'd be better with a sword anyway.
I'd like to point out
I
also
work
that
with
these
plants.
the battery packs on these guns are fairly heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Some
guns,
people can't carry 'em.
like, they're set up not to have, a dramatic amount of recoil, but you're projecting something at Mach 6, there's recoil.
I don't suppose we could ask one of the people here who is equipped to defend people to help follow us for a mile.
We can
We
ask.
could try.
We also don't need to kill the things. We just need to keep them off of you.
Yeah, we
And
will.
maybe run them around in circles. when you would.
Maybe, but that implies that none of them will just turn around and continue after me while you're trying to run around.
Yes, because you'll probably be making a lot of noise.
Yeah, because I'm going to be wrenching and hammering on the door.
We can ask and see what they say.
All right, let's go.
Alright, who are you gonna go to? You gonna talk to some of the random people, or are you gonna go talk to Solace?
Solace.
Right, yeah,
the one
I
who
would
can protect
say-
people.
That's the woman we've been
Yeah.
dealing with, right?
Mm-hmm. Alright.
Also, as we're walking, kind of try to get the two of you aside for a moment. So, I have the shield that I have in the garden, in the wood between, and the shield that I have in the wood between the worlds. In this world, it's a bracelet of sorts, but what
When it
do the
does,
two of you
no.
have?
Well, I didn't have any of your fancy tools in the other world either.
Hmm.
And I don't know where Faust's tarot deck is, but it's probably still on the cell key.
I didn't have anything.
Alright. Do I even know what this does?
You have a guess because of what you
I mean,
know about it, but you know it's probably something defensive. but
I
you
know
don't
what it did, but I don't know what it does now.
Yeah.
Right. I sort of don't want to test this thing. I was just hoping we'd have more options. We'll see.
Alright. So, you approach Solace as she's walking around the fields, and she turns to look at you. So,
Solace, we need to get back to our ship and try and pry it open to see if we can get access to some of the stuff inside. We were hoping we could borrow some tools to try and pry it open. And maybe someone to help guard, because I'm the one that has to get it open. I'm also one of the only two people here that can fight.
well, tools you can borrow, I am sure.
But you can't spare us any aid?
They have
I am the only warrior here,
That makes sense.
aside, of course, from Guardian.
And you wouldn't be able to separate while Guardian does a round?
I cannot risk the safety of my people.
I understand. We can't guarantee your safety.
Can you communicate with Guardian at all? Or does he communicate
I'll take
with
it you tried.
We
Did our best.
Yes.
we attempted.
I do not know. All I know is that he protects us.
Hmm.
And
Is it just at certain times when, I mean, are there just, what kind of protection does he offer? I mean, what does he do? Is it just when there's something a lot more major than these stitchers? That
I mean,
come
he
by,
did
or-
come out and massacre the Stitched when they started showing up.
well,
He
he
showed
was
up.
walking around
He was
with
walking
that
around.
giant ball on a chain.
Oh, that's right, yeah. But, ooh, maybe we can borrow the ball and chain. We can't pick it up, probably.
I'm also wondering. You told us a lot about. You told us a bit about the portal, the one that brought you here, I believe it was.
Yes.
Has it ever worked again? Has anyone ever been able to walk
No one
through
has
it?
ever left. No one new has ever come.
Not even anything?
Your friend was the first thing that portal has reacted to.
Interesting.
I don't see a lot of direction here other than to try and get the ship open.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well,
We have to try.
You think you can handle trying to guard us, Duncan? You want my knife while
I'm
doing
better
this?
off, I mean, so... Yeah, probably.
Is there any
The knife would probably be better.
convenient way for the ship to move along the surface, or can it not really move other than taking off?
It's too heavy.
I mean, it has wheels and landing gear. You could theoretically drag it along if you had enough
Horses.
enough horsepower.
I was mostly wondering if we get this thing online, if we could pull it closer to the village. But
I mean, the landing gear is out. Theoretically, you could pull it as it is.
But we need a lot of
But
strength
you
for
would
that.
It's
need-
over rough terrain, and it's how much
Roll
does
me
it
your
weigh?
mechanic.
Mechanical repair.
Yeah.
Here's my-
it'd need a few more horses than they have, I'm guessing.
100.
Yeah.
40 of 60.
Theoretically. But it's dangerous. Pardon?
40 of 60.
We'll call it Plan D.
Plan Q. So, way to the ship. So you don't actually know how strong a horse is, but you've heard things referred to as horse power. You think a pair of horses could pull this thing on at a walk? If you could get 4 horses hooked up to it, you could probably go at a pretty decent jog.
Pretty small ship.
So,
Because, like, once this thing is on the thing, once this once the shuttle is on the ship, like, a forklift can drag it around.
yeah.
Okay.
If we could get...
And the
And-
ground here is solid enough that the wheels shouldn't dig into it too
And
much.
maybe the gases will actually make it easier to move because they kill inertia.
Oh.
They didn't seem to have any particular effect on things moving through it, but
Who knows?
The gases, you recall, the gases combined seem to cancel each other out and have little to no effect.
If we could borrow 4 horses, we could probably get this thing back in the 15
But
minutes.
can the
it took us
horses
to jog.
breathe out there? Oh, I guess
I mean,
they
they're
breathe
here.
so that's,
Yeah.
Okay.
There were bunny trails earlier, so clearly the rabbits at least have gone outside of the zone and breathed in this weird fog area.
Yeah, okay, right.
I mean, I'm not good at a sales pitch. If any of you want to try asking
For asking
We-
what?
for some horses.
Ooh, Sandra can try.
Gonna see if you can charm them into letting you borrow some horses.
Oh, it's a manatee on your face. I'm sorry. I'm distracted by the thing jutting out of your face. Sorry. Yes, I do have charm.
Alright. So, who are you going to try to charm?
I mean,
Solace or one of the stablemen?
Yeah, that'd be easier, maybe. Well, I don't know. We gotta,
I mean,
Would
Solace
I
is the person in charge.
yeah, I
Yeah, but
talk
would
to
I
somebody
think
who's
that the
in charge.
stableman would have authority over this?
You're not sure what the governmental system around here is.
Well, she's gonna try one of the stable people first because she feels like that's gonna be easier.
Persuade would be better on Solace anyway, so
Sure, roll me charm.
I'll try and talk to Solace if this doesn't work.
11 of 75.
Alright, well, you are very charming. Alright, so let's, so you're going, there's somebody who appears to be taking care of
How
some...
many horses do we need? How many horses do they have?
They've got about a dozen. They appear to run plows and stuff. You approach...
Have that.
You approach one of the stablemen who looks at you.
Batting eyes. Hello, I was wondering if you could assist me.
Of course. You are the strangers who come from the ship that sails the skies.
Yes. We're trying to get back into the ship. It won't let us in right now. And we need something strong, and I was wondering if we could borrow a few horses, 4 to be exact, to help us get it open.
Well, that was get it over here to a safer place.
Oh, sorry. To help us get it over here, so it will be safer.
4 is a lot of horses.
We'll bring them back.
Yeah, well, we're bringing the thing here, so the horses will come back.
We have weapons to defend ourselves and the animals.
You have weapons like Solace.
A little different, but still very strong.
There are many dangers in the mist.
Yes, we've seen him.
And I will do everything in my power to keep the horses safe.
I am curious to see the ship that sails the stars. Very well. They will need harnesses and yokes. He begins setting up the horses with dragging harnesses. And this should help you get there quicker, he says, and he hooks them up to a wagon that you can ride in.
Thank you.
Time for some railgun charioteering.
5 horses.
So, yeah,
Let's get going.
Alright.
so we can... How are the horses going to respond to the noise of railguns?
None of you know anything about horses, so
Oh, we don't have to use them.
we're gonna find out.
Yeah. We
I mean,
might-
no, we probably can't ask for a stable hand to follow us.
It's gonna
No.
be too much,
Yeah, that'd be
probably.
too much trouble for somebody.
Alright, so there's a wagon and there's some horses. What you doing?
Try and guide the horses to the ship.
Who is guiding the horses?
I'll guide the horses.
How are you guiding the horses?
I've read a lot of books about, like, animals and stuff.
Yes.
Have I read, like, how to guide the horses?
You know, you know that horses used to pull carriages.
It's all from
Well, you can
books.
figure out, yeah, the way he
I
has
mean,
the
you're-
wagon set up, you can figure that out with the
Like
reins.
there's reins there, but you've never done this before, and it's not like You were reading about animals. You weren't reading, like
Okay.
driver
The
manuals.
reins are attached to the horses, yes?
Hmm.
Okay, she's gonna gently pull that.
Okay, the horse's head turns.
This way.
They turn their head, yeah, exactly.
This way. Oak. Forward.
Well, what if I go up front and walk in front of them?
Are you just walking in front of it?
Yeah, trying to see what they're. If I go in front of them,
They seem
look at
to
me
watch
and
you.
they well, okay.
She's
And I
going
just
back to that stable hand.
See if
Can
can
I-
teach you how to ride a horse.
Can I
do you-
try? Can I try to recall my own days of glorious knight in shining armor paladining, and try to call back on memories from another world? To
Roll
try to do
me
this.
idea at half.
Come on, you can do it.
45.
This is something that only you could probably do because I think you were the only one who was like a severe writer
Yeah,
of the group.
because I did a lot, and a lot of the major incidents that I have in my memory involve that.
Yes, they
like
do.
saving the halfling village and attacking Dren like an idiot. Dang it! That was a terrible roll.
Would you roll?
I roll really high on this, 81.
So it's one of those things where you distinctly remember it, but it was all instinct. You don't have it's sort of like when you look at a picture of somebody running the horse in the book, where it's like, oh yeah, they're just sitting there with the reins, and that's how they drive the horse. I'm not sure what you do with the reins, but it's definitely how you drive the horse.
Okay.
She's gonna ask the stable hand for instruction.
Yeah. Excuse me. Another haircut. Could you please assist me in how to make the horses go forward?
You've never done this before?
We don't have horses on the ship.
No horses.
No horses.
What animals do you have?
No animals.
What do you eat?
Oh, we make our own meat.
Don't make it think you're an animal, please!
Oh my goodness, no. No, it's like,
Grow it like a
it's-
plant.
Yeah, we grow it like a plant.
Grow meat on trees?
Yes.
Sort of.
Not on trees exactly, but like a plant. It's completely safe. And
That's never gonna make someone feel better.
and it doesn't harm anyone.
That
We
doesn't
don't
make
care.
anyone feel better.
Yeah, look at you!
Sweet smile.
Gonna raise it. I'm really sharp.
Be charming.
23 out of
Charming,
75.
not creepy. All right, you're charming, not you're a cute, naive little girl who
Yes.
has no idea what she's talking about.
Giggle.
He goes over and he shows you. Yeah, you flick the reins to startle them and move them forward, or you can stand in front and pull the reins to pull them forward. They'll go whichever direction you pull. Pulling one side without the horses moving just annoys the horse.
Thank you.
You're welcome. He seems amused as he walks away.
Okay, so
All
Take
right.
the reins.
Okay, I've got this now.
Pile into the wagon.
All right. Well, before we start this journey, I have to use the restroom. So 1 moment. Will you discuss your great plan amongst yourselves?
I'm gonna be out front, so things don't attack the horses. I'm gonna have to.
Probably
Jog.
sit on top of the wagon because the horses are probably going to be moving quicker than we can run.
Well, they should. Their average walk speed should be about 4 miles an hour. I can jog that.
Yeah, but we're going to try and get there as fast as we can, and then we're going to be moving a lot slower coming back.
Yeah, but I mean,
We also don't want to move too loudly and attract attention.
well, but I mean, the wagon's gonna be loud anyway, no matter what we do. So I mean, we're gonna have to.
But I mean, you can take the gunner's seat on the wagon.
You better have the gunner seat on the wagon. As far as hitting stuff, I'm better in brawling. I only have 50% chance of hitting stuff with the gun. But
I
yeah,
am nothing
maybe
but combat trained, so I'm good at killing things.
I'm trying to think if there's any better way. I'd love to have like some kind of fan or something to blow away, opaque gases, but
Oh, so we can
yes.
take some kind of fan-based thing with us. I don't think you're going to be able to do that.
Think of how.
I don't think that's going to be a possibility because they had to set up a giant fan to try and do that for them.
Yeah.
Because there is 0 wind on this planet.
All right. So you got a plan?
Nope. Well, we'll do it anyway.
That
It's
sounds like the
called
standard.
winging it.
All right. So you start the horses out, and you start heading down.
Yep.
The travel through the mists. Let's
Can we see to the front of the 4 horses? We got enough visual to see the front of the.
So you're on the
team.
wagon. The front of the team is probably about 15 feet out.
Maybe 15.
You got about 30 feet of visibility, so you can see about 10 feet beyond the horses.
I don't know. I'm thinking I should run up front anyway. I don't think these things are going to go very fast anyhow. Because I don't know how fast they go anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
On a run, you can stay in front of the horses.
Yeah. I figured if I just ran the whole thing. It's only a mile, right?
Yeah.
I should be able to do that pretty easily.
So, this time you're moving fast. You're not sparing any expense on speed.
Yeah. Right.
You definitely hear the scraping of these things as they drag through the dirt around you, but you again haven't seen them, and it's getting heavier the closer you get to the ship. As you break through into the circle around the ship after about a 6-7 minute tense ride, you see 3 of them are just sort of meandering around the ship.
Alright, we're going to have to clear those out, and we need to do it as quietly as we can, so we've got time to hitch these things up before we start moving. Which means knives and batons.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Batons. And
Knife.
As they go off for... How close are we getting before they stop and go off into combat?
Well, it's only about 100 feet radius from the ship, so it's about 100 feet out.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll just run up and attack the closest one. I'm gonna try the stun
We
baton. to see
know
if that
we've
does any
been
good.
told where the core is at, so aim for that.
Yeah. Right. I'm
All
gonna try the
right.
stun baton to see if that
I
does
will be
any good.
driving my knife into the area where the core is supposed to be.
Yeah. 22.
Which is basically, sticking a knife up their ass. But,
I mean,
24 of my 95.
and you got...
22 out of 85.
Are you doing anything?
Not yet.
Okay. Are you doing anything?
Not really much I can do. I'll try to move up in front of the wagon, try to get that hitched as soon as possible, hopefully.
So you're hitching up.
May as well.
And what are you doing, Rudy?
Seeing out everyone's way.
Stay on the wagon with Sandra. Alright, neither of them successfully dodge.
Good.
So go ahead and roll me your damage.
Oh, that's good. 14.
Nice. So the thing's not facing and you run up and you jam your knife way into the small of this thing's back and rip. And you see a lot of very clear liquid come out. As you see this exposed lump of brown-green plant matter.
So they just seem to fall out.
No, it's still there.
Okay.
The thing is still standing.
Well, that's unfortunate because that's the most damage I can roll. So they're always going to take at least 2 hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Father?
Well, with a stun baton, does that do the same?
It
as
does the
baton
physical
plus
damage,
the
plus it does the electric.
Okay,
damage.
so 4 for physical damage. What is the? I don't know. What is the electrical damage?
Oh, wouldn't...
Plus, it just says 1d3 plus stun.
Oh, okay, stun.
And do you add your damage bonus?
Is the baton? Okay, is the stun baton is 1d3 plus? Okay, so what? Oh,
Yeah, because you can use it as a club or you can use it as a stun stick.
Yeah.
And the stun stick has.
oh, I'm just using the stun. Yeah, I'm just using the stun to see, but it has an effect. That's basically
All right.
what I'm doing. It's just
So
yeah,
you jab the thing, and so you're busy harnessing the ship. You're watching, right? Roll me biology.
Uh, 10 of 90.
Biology.
Sorry, 10 of 70.
That's it. Your botany's not.
They both start with a B, I'm sorry.
So, you would presume that what's going on is that these plants don't have any control over the actual nervous system based on what you're about to see, and as this thing zaps in, you recall experiments done with electric diodes and frog legs.
Mm-hmm.
As the electricity, the muscles must be in good enough shape and biological condition to still be active, and all the muscles tense up, and this thing just curls into a ball and collapses on the ground like fetal position style. And you can see under the skin there's bulging and convulsing as the muscles of this thing are actively fighting the plant for control over the flesh puppet.
Neat.
That's slightly grotesque.
Yeah, but yeah, effective.
Yeah. You go ahead and roll me... I'm trying to think what you would use to harness the ship. Because you're trying to do it fast, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a manual dexterity thing. So.
Roll your dex.
Okay.
Or you can take your time and be guaranteed to do it, but it'll take a couple rounds longer.
How's your dex looking? Do you feel
I
confident?
don't
in that?
like my odds of rolling under
Okay.
a 40.
So to roll sanity to stay calm.
That I much prefer.
Did you make it?
Still a crummy roll on a 96.
Ouch. Alright, you roll your dex anyway because you're freaking out. You're going fast. You do not have the option to take it slow.
You know what?
I don't know what.
Makes sense.
The gray dice are
Yeah.
betrayers.
Leftmost one is going to be 10th
I
place.
need to make a dice jail for us.
22 of 40.
Alright.
Pair of twos.
Yep, I'm
So-
definitely using the green ones from now on.
In you're panicking. You're trying to keep going. Took your meds a while ago. You haven't taken your most recent dose, and you're seeing stuff. So you just start hooking things, but you're going fast. You're on autopilot, and it's working.
Cool.
All right, it is their turn. The plant on the ground. Wow. So this plant thing on this convulsed ball on the ground, the plant starts. Plant tips begin emerging from this thing's flesh, and the tendrils that were holding it together begin bulging and ripping apart this corpse, forcibly causing it to stand back up. At this point, like one of its arms is just dangling by a foot of
And this is the plant taking control?
yeah, by about a foot of plant matter that's covered in blood and torn ligaments, and but it's getting back up. It can't do anything right now, but it's
Was this
pulled
the
itself up.
electrocuted one?
The electrocuted one.
Yeah.
She's gonna shout, it's the plant taking control. You have to take the plant down.
Got it.
Yours is going to swing at you.
Yep. I will try and dodge.
Only a dodge. I don't think you're dodging.
Well, that's a 20 on a 95 dodge.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he got a 12.
Do I know what would be the best way to take down the plant? Like the best weapon against it.
I mean, generally speaking, pruning and
Fire.
cutting are going to work well. The electrical shock is good at debilitating them because of what it does.
Pruning and cutting?
Yeah, like slashing, like the knife or machete or something like that's going to cut pretty well.
Don't I have pruning shears on me?
Yeah,
Because I was using them.
yeah. I mean, you could try to.
I'd have to get really close.
You would have to get right up on it,
Okay.
but
Finish your fears.
She's gonna jump out of the wagon and go for it.
in just a moment. All right, you take. So you try to dodge, and this thing slams you in the chest with its arm,
Ow.
and you only take 3 damage.
Okay, that's not so bad.
As you feel some pops in your ribs, and you feel a bruise. The flesh that hit you felt less like someone punching you, and more like being hit by a wooden rod.
Ow.
And then this third one doesn't like that you're trying to wrap up this ship and attacks you. Do you have dodge? Or a weapon skill to try to block with?
I don't have a weapon skill to try to block with.
So roll your dodge.
Everyone has at least some dodge.
I already failed. Yeah.
This thing smashes you over the back, and you feel your crack in your upper spine as you take 8 points of damage.
Okay.
Everything hurts.
Wow.
All right. Back to the 2 people in fray.
Yeah, I need to finish this thing off before I can go and help him, so we're going to try and stab this thing again. Right in the core.
Okay.
That I seem to have exposed. Good! 33.
These things are not great at dodging. You hit it.
Good. Take more damage. 7 plus 5 is 12.
All right. You push this thing and get your knife right up under it and cut the core out of it, and it falls to the ground.
Good.
Father, this thing is standing awkwardly with limbs dangling.
Shock it again.
I'm gonna shock it again because that's what I'm gonna. 58 out of 85.
It again fails to dodge.
Okay. This is the
Roll damage.
damage of. Okay, what is it again?
It's
three?
just, it's a D3 plus your bonus.
My bonus.
Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you go 3.
All right. So again, the damage is minimal, but as the muscles tense on this thing again. Wow. Okay. As the muscles tense and fight the plant, several parts of this and of the anatomy of this thing literally explode as plants pulsate and burst and rip open parts of arm or leg or torso. And without a flesh puppet to control, the plant collapses to the ground, twitching in a heap of viscera.
Okay.
There's no... The little blood that was left has sort of hardened and congealed into a gel, so it looks more like a heap of cuts of meat rather than a dead body. What were you doing?
Were those the only 2?
No, there's one.
There's one more on
Attacking.
Yi.
Okay, I'm just gonna go for that one.
All
Try
right,
to do some gardening.
roll me an attack.
I'm assuming it's going to be brawl.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, with 25% chance base.
Awesome. Where's Brawl on here?
Right there.
Oh, okay.
So you want to roll a 25 or lower?
Started fighting. 42.
So the problem is, you know where to hit. but you've never done this before,
Yeah.
and you're uncertain, and you just sort of whack the thing with the shears. You're not even sure it noticed you. Yi, what you doing?
Is the thing tied up?
No, not yet. It'll take one more round. Right now, you've wrapped it around one of the wheelbases higher up, but if you pulled it right now, you would pull that wheel and you'd be dragging it rather than pulling it along the wheels. You have to connect it to the other side.
I'm going to... So this thing is basically just a body connected, held with plants.
Yep.
How much danger with any thorns or stuff is there of this thing stabbing or slashing me? Would it mostly just be blunt attacks?
It's mostly blunt attacks.
I'm going to go ahead and sort of move to be on the other side of this rope and sort of start backing away a little bit and just very basic sort of defensive posture here. Just basically a boxer's stance or something. Just make it hit something not important.
Notably, put the bracer arm forward.
Yes. See if the bracer does any. See if the bracelet does anything. It may or it may not. But
What are you doing, Kyle?
full defensive.
I'm going to try to help him with the one that's on him. Try to get it distracted.
What are you going to distract it?
Look over here, I'm a big puppet.
Anything I can throw at it. I'm still on the wagon, right? I'm gonna get off that and see if there's anything to throw at it. Get its attention.
There's a rock on the ground.
Yeah, there's rocks.
Let's. I got a rock to throw at it.
All right. Is
I got
throwing
a
a
rock.
separate skill or is that also brawl?
I believe throwing is
That's-
either. Yeah, it's just basically brawl.
It's brawl.
Yeah, throwing a rock is brawl. So roll me a brawl check,
All right.
which I suspect is going to be a base 25.
Unless you put anything
Yes.
into it.
All right.
Base 25.
Oh no, there's actually a throw skill.
Oh, there's a
Yeah,
throw
there's a
skill.
throw. It's
Yeah, it's all the way at the
20%.
very end.
It's 20%.
20%. So you got 20% chance of.
Nope. That's a 61 out of the base.
All right. These rocks are weird. They're not shaped normal, and they're really heavy for what they are. They're really dense.
Excuses.
And you hurl it, and it bounces off the ship.
Dink.
Take that shit.
Yeah.
Does the ship come open?
That was easy.
All right. So there's only one left, and someone tried to stab it with shears, and someone's running away from it. We're gonna see which one it goes for. It's gonna go ahead and roll me. Normally brawl or dodge.
I feel like your dodge is probably better than your brawl.
It's not.
Really? You have less than
It's-
25% on your dodge.
I have a 40 dex.
That makes sense. Okay.
So yeah, roll brawl to just tank it, I guess.
To box it.
Did you roll 100?
Oh, no. Double zero.
Holy shit.
It was really nice knowing you.
What happens now?
Goodbye.
You invite it in. So you've never actually boxed before. So you've got your hands up here, like covering your eyes so you can't see the thing coming at you. And it goes right for the sternum. What's your damage at?
7.
You have 7 left.
Because I just took 8.
Wow. You hear a cracking noise as the thing breaks your sternum. Congratulations. You're at exactly 0, which I'm not sure. I don't think there's. I think there's rules for exactly 0, but I'm going to call it say that you're not dead. But you can't do anything right now.
Unconscious.
Ouch.
You're not. You're conscious. You feel every bit of pain and the internal bleeding that's going on, and all of that joy. And since it's the core of your body, you're incapable of doing any task using your arms because moving your arms causes a massive amount of pain.
Yeah, no, least of my concerns.
All right.
Well, it's facing away from me now, so perfect shot at the base of the spine.
Roll me an attack.
Where's my D10?
Actually, Holly is closest, so I'm going to let her
You
go
go
first.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Dice
I've
keep
got
betraying
pruning
me.
shears.
Got a pruning shears it?
That's what I
attacking
wanted.
3.
Oh, right.
Hey! Stick it with shears.
It super fails to dodge.
Yay!
Um,
Die!
so, roll me botany
To shear it.
to know...
To that 21 of 90.
Prune it something fierce.
All right. Just, and now finally roll me strength.
That's gonna be worse.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad, yeah, because that's 79 of 35.
All right. So you jab this thing right in the back, and you know that there's one particular stem that's going to be controlling all of this thing's upper body function. If you can trim that, you can disable it. And you squeeze, but you just don't have the strength to finish it. You're not strong enough to clip this.
While she's holding it there, can I just run up behind her and just slam the shears together?
Roll me strength.
That's what I'm good at.
Please roll well.
48 of 80.
So you feel arms wrap around you and grab, and with your powers combined, you hear a snap, and this thing's upper body just drops. It has its legs, but its upper body just fell like a rag doll.
Thank you.
Not dead yet. Get moving.
Father, what do you do?
Easier said than done!
Let's see, I have 1% chance of helping him.
It's pretty hard to say right now.
Yeah, speaking hurts. You think you may have a punctured lung. Also, your oxygen consumption is going through the roof right now.
Yeah,
I
Unsurprising.
do have first aid.
So do I.
anyway.
I got
I'm
some
gonna
bad news, though. To do that, you would have to take his
take
suit
his
off.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's not right now.
Yeah, let's get this thing hitched up. You guys can take care of that plant, right? I'm gonna
Yeah, go hitch.
I'm
go
gonna
hitch
hitch
the
up.
thing up.
I'm gonna hitch this thing up and get going. So I'm gonna attach the other. What do I have to do for that?
To do what?
To tie the horses, the other.
Roll me dexterity.
Horses up.
To not fumble the thing.
Dexterity, oh brother. Well, let's see.
Did you do it?
Ooh, 18 out of 45.
Good.
That's good.
18 to 45? Alright. You quickly wrap around the thing. And it's ready to go. He's not going to be able to get to the wagon.
Yeah, we'll get him in a minute.
Yeah, Kyle, can you carry him back to the wagon?
That's going to be a hard nope.
Oh, you're not strong at all, are you?
No.
Not very. Also, size 85.
Yeah.
How, what?
Size 85, yeah. But
Yeah, he's like 250 pounds.
Yeah, so am I, though. So.
I'm a big dude.
Well, can't just throw him over our shoulder either, because do more
Yeah,
damage.
broken sternum.
Do
That's
more
the problem.
damage. We have to get 2 of us on him to pick him up.
Or more.
Well, the plants can't do
Very
anything
glad
right
we
now,
have the
theoretically.
wagon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very glad we have the wagon right now.
Theoretically, the plants can't do anything.
How far are we from the ship?
Oh, we're at the ship.
You're at the ship.
We're at the
Yeah,
ship.
yeah.
Okay.
This is wrapping. This is getting the ship up. You're ready to go back. Also, you hear more noise.
Yeah,
Coming from where?
All around us.
The fog.
So, Duncan, help me get
We
him on
gotta
the wagon.
get him on the wagon.
All right.
As quickly, carefully.
So, the 2 of us are going to haul him onto the wagon.
It hurts a lot.
I
I
bet.
think quickly is more. Yeah, quickly is more prudent right now than carefully
All right.
at this point.
Get those horses moving, please.
This is worse than drag.
You slap the horses and you go.
I
Where
mean,
are we going?
you were super crispy at that point, but you were
Back
also
home.
a lot tougher.
That.
Back to the village.
We
You're
got
dragging
back
the
to village, go back to
ship
the
back.
village.
I'm gonna leave
Do you want me to knock you out?
Leave who?
No, we got him in the.
Oh, we're all going
Yeah.
down?
Yeah, they
we're
are
all
I
back.
wish I had that.
They're-
Oh, we're dragging the ship. I'm
So
sorry.
rare.
I'm
Yeah,
not
we're-
with
we're
you right now. I'm sorry.
yeah,
We're
we
dragging
got
the
that
ship. Okay.
You are dragging the
It's gonna
ship.
take a long
Then
I
time.
do know how to
Yeah, let's
safely
go.
do it.
All right.
It would lower my oxygen consumption too.
I don't think I know how to. With first aid, do I know how to safely induce unconsciousness?
Not through the suit.
No.
Okay.
Suit, yeah.
Also, at the condition he's in, you really want him conscious.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta keep him up.
We have to get the ship open.
All right, so you begin racing through the fog. Unfortunately,
Well,
I
it's
got
not
some bad
racing.
news about
You
your
can't
speed
race
right
it.
now.
Yeah, I know, we're moving at a jog.
We're going like 2
Um,
miles an hour.
And if anything's on the back end of the ship, you're not going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
That's okay, whatever. We'll deal with that later.
So, you begin seeing things appear in your vision coming at you.
Oh, guns are ready.
Let's get the
Oh, boy.
railguns out.
Roll
again.
me some gunmanship checks.
This better work.
I'm just as good at gunmanship as actually, I'm slightly worse at gunmanship than fighting, but I'm still good
15
at
out of
guns.
50.
All right.
Hopefully these horses are pretty chill from being constantly surrounded by monsters, but we'll see.
43 out of 80.
So, you both hit your targets. That's the good news. The bad news is they're used to being attacked by plant zombies. They're not used to sonic booms.
Yeah, okay. I understand that.
Roll a sanity check for the horses.
Poor
Horses
puppy.
make their sanity.
One rolled an 8. 15, 25, 100.
Only one horse freaked out.
One freak.
One horse didn't just freak out, though. Oh, right. One of the
One horse
horses
just-
is bolting the opposite
said-
direction of every other
But
horse.
he's attached, yeah, and we're all
And
attached.
everyone's attached to him at the second.
Can I cut him loose with pruning shears?
Yes.
I'm doing that.
I was gonna. Okay.
Roll me... No, you don't need to roll anything, actually. You're just...
Okay.
Horse gone.
Doesn't matter. We've got to get back.
Unless we're trying to get all the horses back.
It's fine. We got to get back.
Well, shoot. Anyway, yeah, we can't. We
Maybe
can't. We
part
can't
member
go.
down.
Here.
You hear more of the shuffling in the distance. There's things. There's more things approaching.
Okay, we can't afford to keep shooting because we're gonna keep spooking horses. So
Yeah,
knives
yeah.
out.
I guess.
Can I see any of them in sight?
Stun battalion.
They're coming in. You want to try to steer the thing out of the way?
I'm gonna
Try
go up
to
front.
avoid them.
We're gonna go up front. and
Give me sort of
keep moving.
driving skills.
Unfortunately, no, because we never had to on the
We
ship.
never
Yeah,
had
exactly.
We haven't ever had driving.
No.
What's the default for driving?
Drive auto is 20%.
You've got a 20% chance.
29.
Oh, so close.
I mean, you're doing well, but you've never done this before.
Well, so here's the thing.
They're gonna be.
If you want to burn 9 of your sanity, you can make it.
9 of your luck.
9 of your luck.
9
rather.
of your
Yeah,
luck.
9 of your luck. You have 70
Oh
luck.
yeah, right.
You want to burn 9 of your luck to make it.
I'm burning 9 luck.
All right. You don't know what you're doing, but
Okay,
it seems
no,
to be
okay.
working.
Oh no, I never changed that. I'm just changing.
You're
this
yanking,
last
you're
one.
pulling, and you only come across one more of the stitch that comes in sight, and you just hit the thing head on with the horses,
You trample it.
and then you run over it with the wagon, and
you
then you
run over
roll
it with
over
the
it with the ship, and you can't see it anymore. But it did. You're not worried.
Don't mess with me.
And you reach the edge, and you pull into the mist. Pull out of the mist into the village, and as you come barreling through, about a dozen of these stitch things follow.
Okay, we. It's gonna keep fighting.
Fight time.
So,
Question. Oh, sorry. I had a question.
what's your question?
Do I have like range attack if I use my ring?
Theoretically, no.
Okay.
You don't know.
I'd have to get up close to him.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the blood has to touch it.
Okay.
So,
Very
as soon as they enter the area, you see a figure jump out of the top of the tower,
Hi, cartoon.
and just make a about 100-foot leap and slam into the ground. And there's a small crater where he lands, and then he pulls the chain out and begins swinging it and sweeps all 12 stitched away in one massive arc.
Thank you.
He then returns to completely normal and just walks back to the tower. Alright.
Fancy seeing you like this again.
I apologize. I once again have to pee, so if you want to discuss amongst yourselves if you pull into town.
We're gonna have to get him.
Hello, everyone.
They don't have real advanced.
Yeah, I bet that hurts a lot, doesn't it?
Alright. If we get him into the ship, can we take the suit off?
Theoretically, if I can get him locked up there and get him, in access
we
to.
need to. We need to open the ship up.
We not only need to get the ship open, we need to get the ship active to get its oxygen recyclers moving.
How you doing,
Yeah.
E?
I've been better.
Yeah.
How are those ribs?
Frankly, I think I care more about the sternum, but
How the
Are your
lungs?
lungs?
Still got two?
punctured, maybe
Okay.
1.5, optimistically.
We gotta get the ship open.
I'm working on it, believe me.
My bag doesn't have any.
Mine does.
In it anymore.
Mine does.
Your bag.
Unfortunately, all of it requires me to get your suit off. So, we're gonna have to get back into the ship first.
Yeah,
right.
I can't eat anything right now.
Or anything else.
I mean, among other things. But
Yeah. So
Only I had a sensu bean. Sensu beans are nice.
Honestly, just
this
massive amounts of painkiller.
This magic bean that heals all wounds and restores stamina.
Oh, is that the same magic bean that Jack sold the cow for?
No.
All right. So you pull into. So you've pulled in. At this point, Solus is calmly walking over to you, and a lot of the villagers kind of gathered around.
Yeah,
and
you
look.
explained that we lost a horse. I'm gonna try and get this thing.
I'll
open.
explain that. Yeah, get the ship open.
I'm gonna try and get the ship open.
Hello,
Trying to figure out how to-
everyone.
Solus walks up.
Hi.
I roll mechanical repair to try and get the ship open.
Sure.
So,
50 out of 60.
All right. You've got the luxury of time, so it'll take you probably a good 2 minutes.
Yeah, luxury of time.
Well, some of us
the
do.
guy with the punctured lung.
It takes you a good 2 minutes to get anything lodged in there without bending anything too out of shape, but you're able to do so, and you're actually able to hook the horses up to it and pop it open. While you're doing that,
Hello. So, we ran into some stuff.
I would presume
We lost a horse.
I can count.
I'm very sorry. We have a party member down right now, and we have to get the ship open to save him, and if I kept the horse, we all would have died. And all the horses would have been lost. So it was one horse or the rest of them. So
Once we see what is inside of this ship,
We can
I'm
offer
sure
you.
that we can arrange something as a deal.
Yes.
of course. And
Whatever we have that can help you.
we can do that, and also once we get back to the big ship, we can offer even more that's up there.
I'll talk as much as I want. It's a nice distraction.
I will hold you to that.
Yes.
Fine.
She looks at you.
promise.
Looks
I've
at
seen
the
better
ship.
days.
We can't get it.
He needs help.
We can't get his suit off in this atmosphere because he can't breathe the stuff that's in the air. So we need to get him into there so we can get the air recyclers on.
One of them charged me. Broken sternum. I think damaged lung, not entirely sure. I'm
Then you
used
should
to.
probably shut up.
It's easy to tell other people that. I'm used to diagnosing this sort of thing.
So we start moving him inside.
Yeah. So I as soon as the ramp
Yeah.
is down, I run inside.
So you pull them up. What you're going to have to do, because of the mode it's in, you're going to have to pull everybody you want into the ship, close that one back up, and then open the inside so you still have oxygen
Right,
in here.
exactly.
Because the
Yeah.
recyclers are not currently on.
Yeah.
So bring everyone in, close the outside ramp, open the inside airlock.
Solace comes with you.
That's
Okay,
fine.
That's fine. She can breathe oxygen, supposedly.
Alright, you come in. It would take you a minute to get this airlock in the center open, but it's not as hard. It's not as firmly locked once you get something wedged in there.
Yeah,
You're
because
just able-
the mag lock is not active and it's a smaller door.
Yeah. And you enter and you entered into the storage area, I presume, because that's where the medical
Yeah.
stuff is. So as soon as you walk in, you see the place is covered in plant matter, and vines are wrapped around everything. And they're blooming and covered in strawberries.
That's wrong.
Covered in strawberries.
Strawberries.
Well, let's start.
Wait.
We start shaving the plant life.
Okay.
We still have our
Does-
suits on.
Where are the people that are in here? That were in here?
You don't see any people. There's just
Let's just start shaving the plants.
like strawberry vines have taken over the ship.
She's gonna start
Snipping.
cut, snip, snip.
I'm going to use my knife if I have to cut through these things. I've got to get to
Yeah, we
med
got
equipment.
to cut them
Yeah.
up.
So you start ripping
Okay,
apart
got
this
the-
plant matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you find that one of the plant things dug into the power structure of this.
That explains some things.
Still can't find anyone in here?
There's no one in here.
Oh,
There's not a lot of space to search.
I mean, cut that plant out of the power circuits.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Rip everything out and just.
Can I do some quick mechanical repair to try and get that running again?
Sure.
31 out of my 60.
Alright, so you've got emergency power on. It's not enough to fly the ship, but the lights spring to life and the life support
Yeah,
systems
that's
go on.
The oxygen recyclers come on.
You can take off your suits if you would like.
Not yet. Not until all the plants are shaved out.
The plants are
Yeah.
being ripped apart. They don't
Yeah.
seem to be sentient plants.
Yeah,
I
so
want to test these.
Sure.
I'm
That's
gonna
okay.
try. I'm gonna try some basic first aid to try and get him a little.
See if they're hostile or not.
Who's the best at first aid?
I have 70.
60. You're better than me then.
Okay, roll first aid.
43.
Roll a d3.
3.
Nice. Alright, so you get him on a med bed, you pull the suit off, and there's not a ton that you can do, but you put a mask on him to get him breathing more steadily. There's not a lot you can do short-term for a punctured lung, but you've got the medical equipment to do some basic stuff. Somebody with medicine would have to do a proper
Which is him.
fix-up.
Self-surgery is a thing that has been done historically.
Yes.
I know. But
Do you want to roll me medicine at half?
Does anyone have medicine higher than 30?
I don't have any medicine. I have a 1%.
I got 1%.
Let's do this. Rock and roll.
Can I assist in any way? Like, if you can instruct
Oh,
me
well,
on
we're
what
gonna
I
have
need
to.
to
Yeah,
do.
we're gonna have to assist. Somehow.
I mean, there's going
Yeah.
to be an amount of that.
Because
We gotta have
I
one
have
assist
first
it.
aid knowledge, so.
Here's the thing. My arms are barely working. You doing that is what's keeping this at half and not quarter.
Roll well. Burn all the luck you need to.
Oh yeah. we're
Yeah,
on-
no, that's what I'm going to. I intend to if it's even.
45?
I burned 15 luck.
All right.
So you're back.
So, you begin walking him through the steps.
Or, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you've been walking Goro through the steps and making the incision. You've got a screen that you can watch what she's doing. I got some new. First aid doesn't have anything to do with this.
No, absolutely not.
This is way beyond anything that you know what to do. And basically, you are supporting one of his arms so that he can just do it with his wrist and not try to use all the muscles up here in his chest.
Mm-hmm.
And handing him tools, and he is doing it on himself. Alright, you stop any of the internal bleeding.
Alright.
you put a bone knit, which is at this
Like an internal cast.
It's like an internal. At this point in time, it's basically super glue for bones. It's a technology that's been recently come up with, and it basically glues your bones back together. It's going to be a little weak. You're not going to gain any hit points back from this, but you will regain your ability to function.
Mm-hmm.
So you're stuck at 0, and
You regain 3
oh,
from
you
your.
regain 3 from my first.
You're at 3, and apparently being at 1 or 2 is considered to be like incapacitated. I was just double checking.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just out of incapacitated zone health-wise, and then your permanent injury from being at 0 is rebalanced. You feel like a shot to the chest could instantly incapacitate you still. It will take a good month before this heals fully.
So I have basically big glowing weak spot right here.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Because if something hits you in the chest with any real amount of force,
It'll dislodge the bone marrow.
it'll cause a re-break, and it will...
Puncture your lung again.
It probably won't it might not puncture your lung, but it will...
But if there's any decent force behind it, it might.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that takes a while. You're doing testing on plants.
Mm-hmm.
Solace is just sort of walking around looking at everything. What are you doing, Kyle?
Making sure I have everything down that has happened today.
You just sit down and you're like, alright.
That's
Right
gonna
on.
make an interesting chapter.
Today was a day.
What about you, Father?
I'm just gonna go up to the controls and just make sure everything's kind of working. I mean, I'm just gonna look around the cockpit and just make sure there's nothing, anything kind
You
of
did this
trying to take over
when you grew that plant.
anything. up there.
Probably. Out of character, that's not...
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't
I know,
know.
making
I don't
sure there's
know.
no other
Okay.
But you
plant
did
matter
this.
anywhere, and just making
Oh,
sure that
Probably.
that everything's turned on or
Strawberries are her
whatever.
thing.
Just, I don't know.
She's like the Kaylee.
Just from what I do know about
Yeah.
the function.
You know how to read
ship.
control you and check. What you can look at the systems. It looks like you are still at full emergency power, and this ship, in the emergency mode it's running in, you've got if you're just running life support and basic diagnostic equipment, got a couple weeks of
Okay.
the ship being active. If you can get the generator going again, which you're not sure why it's not going currently, but if you can get it going again, the air is made of rocket fuel.
Yeah. Right.
So,
Okay.
We can refuel the ship basically as much as we need to.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You've
So,
got several.
essentially, yeah.
You've got weeks of oxygen and
Okay.
basic operating capacity.
After I'm done with the surgery, I can go and check on the
Right.
acknowledgement
Yeah.
meter.
That's thinking.
And
I'm the handy woman here.
For right now, we're just
unfortunately, right now you're tracking the Selkie, and it's on the opposite side of the planet. You
Okay.
can't really get a message to it right now.
Okay.
All right. And roll me botany.
95 of 90.
Wow.
All right. So
I mean, you have luck if you really want to try.
you've played around with your ring before, but you've never done. It's never had this sort of result. You don't
It's the
know.
soil.
You don't know if it's the soil.
No.
You don't know if it's the amount of blood used in the ring. You don't know if it's an external force acting on it. You don't know if it's the gases. There's so many different factors on this planet. But it shouldn't have done this. There's nothing about the plant itself that should have allowed this to happen. Strawberries don't even grow like that.
Okay.
Strawberries grow in like little
It
bushes.
doesn't seem hostile, does it?
It didn't react to you cutting it.
Okay. She's gonna work on getting rid of all of it.
Okay. It grew fruit.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there's a thing they can take, a strawberry crop if they want it.
I don't
If
think
these
they
are-
want that.
Good to eat.
You don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
You don't even know what you'd be looking for to know if there's something wrong with these strawberries.
Okay. I mean, she'll say to Solus, "You guys can have the strawberries if you want, but I don't know if there's anything wrong with them."
That's a question for a farmer, she says.
Ah,
She's walking around the thing here. So, this is a ship.
A small one.
Yes.
Our big ship
We
is
have a
up
better-
there.
On the other side of the planet right now.
And this can lift itself into the air.
With
If it's
someone
got the power.
driving it and the power.
yep.
The power?
The
Some of the stuff.
energy put into it to make it move.
What happened to the energy?
Well, the generator's off.
She doesn't understand generators.
Sort of.
The generator provides the power or the energy.
You know how if you add more fuel to a fire, the fire burns brighter? All of our fuel's been cut.
Fires are outlawed.
What?
Oh.
Fair enough.
Outlawed? Why are they outlawed?
Because the atmosphere is made of methane.
Oh, shucks.
You know the.
That's not what she said. That's the out-of-game explanation.
However,
Better explanation than
Actually.
I'm trying to think of.
I have a plan now.
You have your animals that push the wheel around and make the fan spin. Basically, we don't have what makes that happen for this ship.
We have mechanical animals. It's kind of like...
Interesting.
Yeah. We have
Mechanical
engines.
gears, they're not animals.
No, they're not animals, but they're just, I mean... You know, like we were pulling the carriage with the
It's all
horses.
It's all
A
powered
long
with
time ago,
machines.
we made horseless carriages.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got some very special materials, but this is what the technology of the past several thousand years looks like.
Main generator that would use basically the ship's fuel.
Yeah,
right?
it basically runs off the rocket fuel that we've got going out in the air right now.
Good.
We get a lot of that.
Speaking of, I'm gonna go take a look at the generator.
Hopefully that isn't a
I will-
giant.
if I have to, I'll carve my way to the generator.
The generator is easily accessible from the cabin.
Was it just the storage room that had the strawberry massacre
Yes.
craziness?
The inside of the cockpit was sealed.
Alright, so I'll make my way to the generator.
And the airlock was also sealed, so it wasn't there either.
There's still no one in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, see if I spot anything about wind or card while I'm walking through.
Roll me spot hidden.
I have a good spot hidden. 46 out of my 50.
Alright. There is an ace of hearts in the pilot's seat, and it has a note scrawled on it.
Pick it up.
No tether, running now.
We knew that.
Hold on to that card while I'm looking for the generator right now.
Um,
That makes sense. But still.
I see no sign of wind though. Okay. I'll check for the generator. See what-
you check the generator. It's like it's broken.
I can't fix this.
Roll me
How-
mechanical
how is it?
repair to determine
What I would need to fix it?
kind of broken it is.
Yeah. Well, that's 19 of my 60.
So, the problem with this is that it's not broken from the outside. It looks like something from the inside broke it. So there's several small and delicate metal pieces that would have to be replaced, and you do not have any means of fabricating them.
Yeah. 'cause-
There's nothing intensely technologically complicated. It's not the electric parts, it's the mechanical parts. You find that there is small amounts of what looks to be like a moss in here that appears to have corroded some parts of the metal and broken them out of place.
Damn it. Try and peel that out with this, like scrape it off with
I
a
mean, with
knife.
that scroll, you can clean this thing out perfectly. You clean all the moss out of it,
Okay. So I have to replace those parts.
but you've got to replace those parts, and they are
Small and delicate.
small, delicate metal parts.
Well, I sort of gather all the parts that I need to replace and put them in a small bundle.
Can you use
It's only about a
the
handful.
stone? Can you use the stone of this world to make parts?
I would need very delicate machinery to make that. I'm actually just going to take it to Garja and see if maybe he can fix it.
Oh, okay.
Because he seems to be capable of crafting things.
So, the minerals of this planet, the osmium, would be great for repairing this. Heavy, but it's similar enough to platinum where it would be sturdy.
Yeah.
But-
I would need the tools to make these pieces.
You would need the tools to make these pieces, plus you have no idea how you would forge this without heat.
Yeah.
And if you produce too much heat,
Then the methane goes up.
then the methane goes up.
Especially because this area doesn't have the gases that would negate the methane from firing off.
Yeah. You don't know what would happen if you did it in the fog.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take these parts that I have broken to Garjan and see maybe if he can fix them.
So you're leaving the ship.
Yeah.
Alright. What are you doing?
I'm gonna keep examining the ship more as far as all the air ducts and
Only
all kinds
spot
of
hidden.
just everything, just to see if there's any more plant matter. Because if there's moss in places, oh goody. 36. What is my spot anyway? Oh, 25. Okay, well, 36 out of 25.
36 out of 25?
I'm gonna look around and see if I see anything. But
There's nothing on the surface. Go ahead and re-roll me spot hidden after roll me another spot hidden because there's something that'll trigger this. Go ahead.
86.
No.
It's
Okay.
getting worse.
You see him scraping moss out of the engine, but you haven't
Yeah.
seen that anywhere.
Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna keep searching for stuff.
All right. Yi, what are you doing?
Don't worry about
Do I get to say?
it. No, you don't.
Interesting.
This is a ninja note designed for everyone but the DM.
Yes.
It's like the opposite of it's a big
You
one.
keep secrets from us.
We keep secrets from you.
That's why I'm called the Keeper. But what are you doing, Yi? I would like to point out, by the way, that just because you're functional doesn't mean that everything you do doesn't hurt a lot.
Okay. Seems to make sense.
I will clarify. You also do have all of the databases that are on the ship databases are downloaded to the shuttle. So if you need to reference any information, it is available to you.
I just kind of want to sit down and not do a whole lot right now, so I'm going to see if I can access database records in here about Faust, because I'm slightly curious what he may have gotten up to.
And as for a medical authorization code, you happen to have that code.
Bingo.
And Kyle, what are you doing?
Just still. Right now, I don't really think there's much I can do.
Still kind of recovering from everything that's going on and writing it down?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much.
Well, if you guys like passing ninja notes, I have to go to the bathroom again. So, you can verbalize to the audience.
Verbalize to the audience.
The thing is, the audience wouldn't understand the note either.
Yeah.
Because it's from a long time ago.
It's a theory.
Pass secret notes out loud.
Secret notes, yeah, it wouldn't be very much secret at that point.
Currently, I'm just trying to desperately Google search how my voice would change from having a punctured lung. It's
Probably-
surprisingly
it
hard to
won't.
find.
Probably a lot more rasp because you're happy because you're struggling to take air
You
in.
just, I mean,
That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything more specific.
If you
Not
want to know
really.
for sure, I
We
can
can-
get Anna in here and we can figure this out.
I would imagine if I were to take a guess, just based on how I think that voice quality would affect, because
Don't punch me in the sternum, please.
because of the idea that your air quality wouldn't be as good, I feel like a voice would probably have a lot more gravel as well, like a lot more of the internal growl that comes out of someone who's having trouble breathing, like the smoker voice kind of.
Yeah, because I keep looking at how does lung damage affect your voice, and I keep getting things for, long-term smokers and whatnot, but I'm not sure how much of that has to do with the lungs and how much of that has to do with the throat.
Like there's a certain amount of that intact, but like,
There we go.
oh, did you find what you're looking for?
Finally, punctured lung, not,
Yeah.
lung cancer or collapsed lung, or any of that nonsense.
How does the punctured lung affect your voice?
The condition can cause the lung to collapse, which makes breathing a problem.
No, really.
You don't say.
Tell me more.
Fun facts on punctured lung.
How fun
Okay,
is
this website's just a gold mine.
Does it have any insight on how your voice might change?
I don't think it's going to change all that much. It's just a matter of being forced and having a lot.
Like
lot
I would
less-
think
a
it would
lot
be a
less
bit more
power.
rasp. You'd probably have to stop to breathe a lot in the
Yeah.
middle of your sentences,
Yeah.
and you'd probably have a little bit more gravel.
All right. And aside from the tiny size of the keeper's bladder, we are back. So, you're looking through the databases for stuff on Faust. His psychological profile is that he is stable, reserved individual, nothing really of note, aside from his yearly psych evaluation to make sure that he was still safe. There's really not a lot. Cause of death, explosion caused by some sort of electrical malfunction.
Who is this?
Faust. Investigated by Brian O'Card. Unsure of the malfunction, potential chemical reaction. Systems too damaged to determine what could have caused it.
So some kind of unknown explosive.
About 13 years ago.
Yeah.
That could have been absolutely anything, knowing what he was dealing with.
Or no, about 7 years ago. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she would have been 16. She's 23 now. Yeah, 7 years ago.
Makes sense.
Could be anything. Who knows?
Mostly just trying to see if there are any.
The file on it's technically still open. They never closed it. But since then they've determined that whatever happened was a freak accident and has a negligible chance of causing any harm in the future, so it's just been sort of set aside.
Mm-hmm.
You do know that Gore is part of the security team, so that might be an influence on why that file hasn't, closed yet.
I mean, it's also anything that's unresolved isn't going to be closed.
Yeah, I mean, cold cases are a thing, and nobody usually hears about them much.
Yeah. Once it's been cold for this long,
Once it's been cold for a quarter this long, I mean,
it was determined, especially when it's determined that there was there was nothing malicious.
Mm-hmm. And no underlying malfunction that would affect other people or anything.
Yeah.
So
Not a danger, not a murder. Hey, freak accidents happen. No one's happy about it, but they happen.
Is there anyone else around me right now?
Yeah, there's not a lot of room on here, so.
Okay. I'll save updating people later.
Faust was probably one of the major scientists on the ship before explosion killed him.
Yeah.
Ye- hmm. What else would I need to look up? There were a number of things we wanted to get info on the ship for. Trying to remember what some of those were.
I'm headed to see if Guardian can help while that's happening.
Alright. So, you re-don your helmet, go to the airlock, decompress, etc. And go to Guardian. A lot of people are now standing and watching, looking at the ship and feeling it, it's the strange material, looking at it, all that sort of stuff.
Actually,
I sort of walked my way past them.
and it's a bit of a long shot, but I'm gonna try to take some time to see if I can, if there's historical records here, if I can look up anything about some kind of spontaneously disappearing plantation house.
Gonna check history records from Ancient Earth.
Yeah.
Roll me...
Library use?
Library use, yeah.
Cool, I have library use.
That is a surprisingly useful skill in a Call of Cthulhu game.
Well, yeah, but a 98 ain't gonna get used at anything.
98 use.
Nah, really.
There were a lot of things happened to plantation farms. And you don't even know when this was.
All I know is to look at Georgia.
This could have happened anywhere between the late 1700s to the late 1800s.
Yeah. A whole 100-year spread. And,
Yeah, you got it.
and then no records being kept.
Yeah, and this was all written records, and there's you have a lot of written material aboard the ship, but you do not have a perfect record of everything that was ever written down on Earth. That's just not a practical thing.
Like the Star Trek
Even if we
world.
have a downloaded Wikipedia, it's, sometimes Wikipedia isn't enough.
Yeah.
Dark times indeed, those.
What, using Wikipedia at all?
Wikipedia not being enough. It's failed us.
So, yeah, you can't find your reference. You push through, you get to Garjan. What you gonna do?
So, you seem like you're pretty handy with making things, considering you made those weapons that protect everyone. I'm curious if you're any hand at fixing things as she holds the broken pieces out.
She's looking at you, at your eyes.
Yeah.
I just extend the hand as close to him as I can get it. Can you make these not broken?
He's staring at you.
I was hoping. I would know what to do, and he's not here. Why is he not here? Why did you leave me alone? I can't start a fire. There's no way that I can make these things. I don't know how I'm going to replace them to get the generator running again.
Roll me an idea roll.
61 of my 70 intelligence.
I mean, if these people have been here for 500 years, they have tools.
Yeah.
They clearly have a means of making things. You're just not sure if they'd be precise enough. But Garjan can't be the only crafter here, given the amount of other, base iron and wood stuff you've seen.
I guess I'll head out to see the people that are milling around the ship.
Okay.
And I sort of just turn my speakers on loud. Does anyone hear a craftsman?
Several people turn and look at you.
Anyone here know how to work metal?
A large woman approaches. What, this sort of metal is unlike I have ever seen before. 'Tis so clean.
Well, the metals on this place should work for what I need, but I've got very small, delicate parts that were broken off of this ship that need to be replaced as I sort of extend the handful of small pieces.
She looks at them and picks one up. I have never worked with metal like this before, but you need it made like these, she says, pressing them together. And
Yeah, the shape is more important than the materials, but the materials that are on this planet should do.
that would take a lot of time. These are small and precise.
Yeah.
It would take a lot of time away from repairing tools. At this point, the airlock opens again, and Solus walks out.
I'm
Do
gonna,
it.
I'm going to head up with.
Set up with her.
Solus. Do we have any like handheld computer type things?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to bring one down.
You've got one built into your...
Oh, okay. I'm
Suit
going
on your arm.
to start showing people all these little videos of stuff from the old days.
Are you showing YouTube videos?
Showing YouTube videos to these people who've never seen a computer before.
Or like classic movies or
Check them out.
documentaries?
The Gone with the Wind.
Oh, please, no.
Or show them
baby.
Buster Keaton's The General.
The General.
They'd understand
Yeah.
everything going on.
Yeah, but Buster Keaton movies. There we go.
All right. I'm showing all black and white movies.
We're projected on the side of the ship. Yeah, everybody takes a seat.
Solus walks down. We will make what she needs. And you, in return, when your ship is working, will take us all aboard your ship.
All right, it'll take
That sounds good.
it'll take a couple of flights, but we can bring back more ships than just this one.
That will suffice. When you return, though, half of you will stay here to make sure we know that you are coming back.
Collateral
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll stick around. This is fun.
We will have to take Yi.
We have to find our pilot first,
Have to
though. I
take
say,
Yi.
pulling the card out of my vest and handing it to Yi.
I'm still on
Oh,
the
you-
ship. I
sorry.
can't
Yeah.
walk.
That's right. Yeah, he can't walk.
You gotta go.
We're gonna have to find our pilot first. I say, pulling the card out, because he escaped, but we don't know where he's at.
Somewhere on the planet.
Probably at the heart.
Where is that?
Jack. Wait, what card was it?
Ace of Hearts.
Ace of Hearts.
It's
Hearts.
Yeah. Where's the heart?
Where those all come from.
Oh.
Why would they be there?
I mean, if you can find a way to disable them. Card's an adventurous kind of guy.
Fine, let's go get ourselves killed.
Tell me.
You know.
Why would he leave the ship?
I don't know.
It
But
was being invaded by plant life.
there were
They weren't harmful. Strawberries have never killed anyone.
there were two people on board that ship. Both of them knew how to pilot that. Both of them are gone. Only one of them left a trace.
And they were both on the ship.
Yes.
Idea rolls.
45.
Wynn was not on the ship. He was outside taking samples.
Oh. No, Wynn was... One of them was outside and is probably now stitched. That's unfortunate.
They would have to take him back to the heart to do that.
Okay, so we've got until Wynn gets turned into something to try and save him, and presumably Card ran. So wherever he ran to. Maybe following after Wynn.
Have you ever been
Where's
to the,
the
heart
heart?
before?
We know the direction they come from.
Okay.
We can narrow it down that much.
That's more than we got.
Okay. Yi has to stay here. He can't come.
No, Yi can't go anywhere until he's
He
healed.
has to stay. Does the ship have
Perhaps only
like
some of us.
forward weapon?
Quite frankly, only those of
array?
us who are good in a fight and good at hiding.
I mean, I can't just kind of.
I should.
You've got a thing. Right.
What?
Nothing.
You wouldn't know about that.
She met Sandra.
Yeah, but you...
You've never seen her use it, though.
That's fair.
We weren't traveling together long
Yeah.
enough. You don't know she has it.
No,
fair.
Gora has met Sandra. That's right.
Wait. No, you've seen her use it in a fight, actually. You have seen her use the rose whip.
Yeah.
But you don't know what form
I
it's
don't know what form it takes in this world, but I know she has it.
Yeah.
But you know she has
But
a
did
ring
she
on.
say that? Did she say that to her, though?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Nothing. Never mind.
It means something. What's it mean?
It does, and it's...
How do you know?
He thinks I'm crazy. Don't worry about it.
He's a counselor. It's his job to think everyone's crazy. How do you know?
If I told you, you wouldn't understand. You didn't understand.
So, a plant den, you can take the botanist.
And the two fighters.
Yeah.
What about the other two?
Well, one's gotta stay and heal.
He has to stay.
Yep.
Like, I could move, but everything would kind of hurt, and it generally wouldn't be a great plan, because
With 3 hit points, it takes 1 hit to kill you.
the only useful thing I could possibly contribute is that I would understand the human side going on, but they're using these... Like, the only medical knowledge you need of this is that it's plants growing through a stake made out of person. Like...
Also, are the comms working on the ship?
Yes, you can communicate with each other over distances now.
Okay. So, someone staying to man the comms is also a good idea.
I mean, how long
So-
until the ship gets around to the big ship?
You're not sure.
No.
I don't suppose you know how quickly this planet rotates, do you?
It's,
The
it's
plane
not-
doesn't
not-
rotate.
not
I know it doesn't, that's right.
rotate. It
Durr.
doesn't rotate. So
Where
the ship...
I thought the ship was keeping geosynchronous.
You can't keep geosynchronous
Right,
if the
'cause
planet
it
doesn't
doesn't
rotate. That was the whole problem.
rotate.
That was the whole issue.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it should be around every 45 minutes or so, unless we got a real slow...
No, that
ship.
depends on the...
It depends on the orbit. But I mean, you think about
But
the
it's
moon
not
takes
out.
24 hours to get around the planet.
Yeah,
But yes.
but I mean, within...
Probably before a day is over, yes.
Okay.
Solace will approach the group. Would you like to eat with us? Well, you would have to eat on your ship, I imagine, to take
Yeah.
off those masks.
Take off
Yeah,
the
we have
masks,
to
yeah.
be on the ship to eat.
You
Anyone,
have-
anyone who
you
wants
guys-
to board the ship to
yeah,
have a
we-
meal with us is welcome.
Yeah, we can invite you on board.
We shall bring food. At this point,
We can share rations. It's nasty.
at this point, about half a dozen people come and they bring large bowls of food and
Yeah.
set them down.
So we all head
They all-
on to the ship. Anyone who wants to join is welcome.
It's been a while since any of you ate, so
Yeah, food is good.
who is eating dinner on the ship?
We have rations, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean...
So I'm just gonna eat her rations.
All right.
I'll
you
eat the...
you eat
the,
MRE.
The regular food, I mean, whatever they bring.
Gore's gonna have a powwow with some villagers in the ship's cargo hold.
What about you?
I feel like he would have already started snacking a little bit, but seeing actual food come in, he would definitely not object to some better food than this.
What about you, Kyle?
He's gonna definitely have the food with the villagers, that whatever they bring in.
Yeah.
All right. So you sit down to the meal. They all start by holding hands, bowing head, and they sing some old gospel songs before they eat.
Cool.
And then they dig in. And it immediately occurs to you one of the primary problems with eating a lot of the food here.
Is the fact that the animals respirate on methane, meaning the fundamental particles that they have aren't the same?
No, it means you can't cook because there's no fire.
Yeah.
True.
So is
Everything is
vegetation-
raw.
well,
So
vegetables and...
there is a lot of things have been pickled in
Oh.
vinegar solutions.
Right.
And the meat It's beef that's been chopped up and made like beef tartare. It's different. It's very meaty and fresh, but it's different than anything you're accustomed to. The vegetables, pickled, the corn has been ground into a meal and mixed with water and turned into like a porridge that has apples in it. The taste is good. The texture is weird though because it's still just rough ground and there's chunks of corn in it. And then aside from that, there's the leaf vegetables seem to work pretty well. And then there's tomatoes and cucumbers.
I mean, to a starving woman, everything tastes good.
Yeah.
Are there also tomatoes?
No, there's only tomatoes.
Ah,
They're in space, so they're tomatoes.
definitely don't want to eat those.
But they do appear to have a rudimentary wine made out of muscadines.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
That's something that none of you have really had before.
Muskin wine.
Muscadine wine, yeah.
Yeah.
So the food
It's
is not
It's food.
not amazing, but it's very different, and it's it's edible. You notice that
Certainly doesn't sound bad. So
yeah, they've been working on techniques for cooking this stuff for a while. A lot of it is again very acidic though, because a lot of acid has been added to these things to kind of
Break it down.
and make it more palatable.
Right.
it's very spicy food.
I share around little
Zesty.
tastes of anything we have that isn't,
You have MREs
Yeah.
okay.
and a whole bin full of strawberries.
Well, here's the thing about MREs.
Like, is it just MREs or are
It's
there...
like compressed protein packs.
Okay, we don't even have, like, jerkies or anything. Just that. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, your unofficial shit business.
Okay.
Yes, Rudy.
Every now and then an MRE will come with a chocolate bar.
Eh.
Yes, me?
You're going to say something?
No,
Okay.
I don't think it was.
But aside from that, the atmosphere is very different. The villagers are very talkative. They're
I mean, Gora will get down for a conversation with people. She'll share what knowledge she has about the ship
Yeah.
life and talk about how she ends up fixing most of the mechanical problems around.
they begin talking about life on the planet. As you can determine, it's pretty agrarian. They grow plants. There's some maintenance they do. They have to be very careful recycling the water. They've developed a really interesting filtration system to turn all their wastewater and clean it up. They found that certain parts of the soil can have the water run through it and it comes out fairly clean on the other side. But they drink a lot of their water in the forms of juices of plants.
Is there any natural water on this planet that we found?
You haven't seen any aside from the fact that they have a giant basin of water here. But there's no water cycle that you've seen.
Yeah.
There's no weather patterns.
And I'll ask, do you have any source of water that isn't just your recycled water?
No.
Did you
How
bring
long
it
do you think
with
that's going to last? Because you keep using it more and more of it as you recycle it.
Well, it goes into the plants, and the plants
Comes back.
purify it, and then we eat the plants and get the water from them, and then we...
Well, think about it. It's not
Expel it.
evaporating into clouds and being carried off anywhere else.
I mean, that's fair. Something about...
Water doesn't exactly go anywhere unless you decide to move it. At least, not here.
See, I feel like some energy's always lost thing that we learned from high school physics is sort of being broken here. But then again,
Well,
this
it's
planet
not
breaks the
the
laws of
water.
physics.
It's
water
not exactly
cycle.
going... Here's the thing.
The water cycle
The
is
soil?
pretty...
gets really solid real quick, it's probably not going to absorb into the osmium that's not terribly far down here, so it can't go that far into the ground. It's not going to evaporate up and away, probably something to do with the gases floating around.
That sort of implies they've got a perfect recycling system going where there's no water loss.
That's fine.
Where's the water going to go?
I mean, everything else physics related is
Yeah, this planet
nice
doesn't care
anyway,
about
so it
physics
doesn't-
anyway.
We don't care.
But it's sort of like to me that sounds like a perpetual motion machine for water.
It is.
I mean,
on the ship,
conservation of matter.
That's
on
what
the ship
what
you
a
have the
ship-
same water than you left from when you left Earth.
Yeah, yeah.
Conservation
the ship is
of
the same
matter.
thing.
It's just a more easily enclosed system.
I mean, I've done it on Biosphere 1 for a year.
And John Lockhole is not evaporating into clouds
Right.
because the atmosphere is magic.
Literally, the atmosphere is magic.
It's not really that. From the atmospheric tests they took, they can reference this because Gallagher did all the tests. The atmosphere containing those weird green and gold blobs of gas in the air don't seem to absorb water. So in their dome, there's water moisture in the air. Outside of it, there does not appear to be. It doesn't seem to naturally flow into those areas. But yes, that is a good point. Why the water wouldn't be evaporating. So it's evaporating, it just can't leave this dome. Insofar as you're aware. Which is something that that you don't know why it wouldn't unless you understood again more about these green and gold gases. Which I'm going to presume now that the ship is back, that's what Gallagher is doing more research on these green and gold gases.
Probably.
So I'm going to go over to the computer and turn on some 1920s jazz for these guys. Because that's what they would like.
It takes a little bit of getting used to, but
Yeah.
at least a couple people seem to be into it, and they get the others into it, and then you can play it loud enough that the people outside the ship can hear it, and I mean, it's a good old time.
I mean, they're the ones that started it. I mean. Sure, I was 60 years ahead of their time, but
Yeah,
whatever.
at least 6 years ahead of their time.
I actually try to see if I can ask anyone, what if people get sick at all? Because thanks to this being such an incredibly closed system, you basically have the same bacteria constantly
Roll me
cycling.
a spot hidden check.
They're all dying.
3.
You notice one odd thing as you're thinking of that. There's nobody over the age of 30.
What about youngsters?
They're kids. They're definitely children. There is no one really even middle-aged in this entire village.
They don't have doctors.
It's like Logan's Run.
I'm curious
Yeah.
if that has to do
Yeah, that's what I
with...
was thinking.
The guardian comes down and
They
eats
get
them.
sent. Or that was like
When
Logan's
the
Run,
30s,
they
when the 30
ascend, yeah.
years
Oh.
old.
As I go through some conversation, I'll try to get a general idea of, as I talk to people, try to get a general idea of who this wouldn't be offensive to ask, but I'll basically just point out
You can probably
It's-
ask Solace.
maybe a good idea, yeah. But it's strange. Something I've noticed about your people here is that compared to life on the ship, many people will live to 80, 100, even more years. But I notice...
What is a year?
12 months.
Well, how do you record time here? I'm curious.
Why would we record time?
Do you know how long a day is?
What is a day?
They don't have.
Like
They
when
don't
the
have sun.
sun comes
They don't
up
have
in
a
the
day-night
morning.
cycle. What sun?
They don't have a sun.
I mean, we don't either, but
We have a simulated one.
How do you know when to harvest?
How long does it...
When the plants are ready.
How long does it
How do you
take
measure
for certain plants? How long does it take for cotton to mature? Do you happen to know that offhand?
do I know that? How long does it take for
Probably
cotton to mature?
Roll me like botany at
Well,
5th.
we'll look it up on the internet. On the
You can-
little
you can Google
computer
it,
stuff. You can Google it.
Google it.
Either that or it's
That's
not.
what I'm doing.
Everybody.
12 of
Yay.
90.
That'll make your 5th.
You know everything.
All right. Seeds attain their full size about 3 weeks after fertilization, but do not reach maturity until about 25 days, with maximum growth rate occurring during the 10 to 15 days of this, about a month.
Okay.
So about
So,
12 cycles
Sandra-
of cotton.
Cotton,
Yes.
you know the time that it takes for cotton to mature.
Yes.
It's about a month in our time.
And then-
So a year is made up of 12 months, so it would be 12 cycles of cotton maturing.
She's gonna see if she's intelligent enough to follow along, because she's never really tried to time things by the maturing of cotton.
Mhm.
Oh wow, yeah, she's smart. All right.
And
So 12 cycles of a cotton plot.
yes, and by at least the look of how people here are, the way that people age, it seems as though I wouldn't estimate a lot of the people in this village as being older than 30 years old, whereas on the ship they may live to 80 or 100. Is it...
Your ship sounds like a safer place.
It generally is.
It
We'll
is.
say
Is
that
it
much.
because of the wandering monsters, or...
Why do people die here? What do they commonly die of? Is it being sick?
Or do
Sickness would be a word for it.
What
Do they
Is
all
it
die
like?
of the same thing?
I happen to... No. I happen to be a doctor. What kind of sickness is it? Could you describe
When they
what
must be
happens?
banished.
Can you describe what happens to them?
What? No, wait. Why do they have to be banished?
Because they will become the stitched.
Why will they become the stitched?
Because that is what happens.
When you get sick?
Hold on.
Wait. When you get
After-
sick,
Yes.
how do you become the stitched when you get sick? Explain this.
I would assume... Do they sprout those plants as they die? Or...
They receive the calling.
The what?
Oh boy.
The
Oh,
calling,
This
does
is
that cause
Logan's
them
run.
to... Does that cause them to move off to
And
the
then-
heart?
They flee to the heart.
oh boy. There
Does
it
this
is.
happen to everyone?
Yes.
No one has died any other way.
Or at least other than violence.
There are other sicknesses that claim some first.
But they...
Are there signs before the sickness comes upon them?
People act strangely, but then once they receive the calling, they try to flee. Sometimes we can intercept them, but at that point it's too late.
What kind of strange behavior?
It depends on the person. People react to it differently. They become fixated on their work. Their emotions become numb.
I'll try to continue along a line of questioning like that and try to use either psychology or psychoanalysis to see if I can figure out anything, what that would be doing, like brain chemistry-wise.
Sure. Roll me psychoanalysis.
Is there something happening with the atmosphere, or are they all just getting depressed and then leaving?
20 of 95. I'm trying to figure out if it's targeting specific parts of the brain, or if it's doing anything specific, if
So-
it's the gas, or if it's just magic.
It's not a stereotypical depression. The way that they sound like they become focused on their work doesn't sound like it's depression. There's no fatigue. There's no lack of drive. It's just their personality is going on. If anything, it sounds more like people who are put on antidepressants, or who are put on, stimulants. It sounds much more like a stimulant than a depressant.
The air is made of steel.
Do they exhibit any kind of... Do they usually exhibit, like, an increase or decrease in fear response?
Their self-preservation isn't any less.
Okay. So it's not some kind of... I think it's frontal lobe. Yeah. It's not some kind of, like, amygdala damage.
Yes, the amygdala regulates
Yes.
fear response.
It regulates a lot of emotional responses specifically, and that's the kind of thing that
Amygdala's right
causes
here
it.
at the base of where the brain meets the spine.
I think it's a little in front of the brainstem, but yeah. But so it's probably not an amygdala damage.
No, the amygdala's like dead center of the brain,
Yeah.
right where
Right where the stem meets the rest of the brain, yeah.
But you do some analysis, and it's not like anything it's not a standard psychological thing that you've heard of before. Alright, so, with that bit of information, I think we're good to call it for a day. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Farewell.